So Tesla is saying that its mass claim of $43 million worth of Canadian electric vehicle rebates is not an abuse of the program, but a misunderstanding. The company, in fact, is threatening to sue Transport Canada if it doesn't hand over the rebates. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in and listening as always. So Tesla is making the claim that the $43 million in federal EV incentives it managed to claim in a single weekend, basically before the program ran dry, was all just a big misunderstanding. The article explains what happened. Now, it explains what this program is. It's a now paused effort which doled out up to $5,000 to help offset the purchase cost of an electric vehicle, according to the article. Once it was announced mid-January that the program was about to run out of money, Tesla pushed through rebate claims for 8,653 vehicles in the span of 3 days. That is insane. The article then goes on to state, that is, to put it mildly, a number of vehicles it's difficult to believe an automaker could have sold in Canada in one weekend. One location in Quebec put in for some 4,000 rebates, which represented about 20 times its normal sales volume. Now, the article then goes on to talk about how this is physically impossible for a store to deliver that number of vehicles just because of the logistics of how that would work, and there just isn't enough parking space for that number of EVs. So overall, it's looking very shady. In fact, the Canadian Auto Dealers Association said that their dealers have been screwed and left out of $10 million in rebates, representing about 2,295 cars, and that Tesla essentially had gamed the system. So it seems like it's not just Transport Canada that has issues with what Tesla has done. It seems like a lot of these other dealerships feel like that they have been screwed over with the way they believe Tesla has gamed the system. Now, it will be interesting to see if that 43 million gets unfrozen. Will it get reimbursed to Tesla or to these other auto dealers that claim that they were screwed with the way Tesla basically made those claims? It'll be interesting to see, but I do think that there could be a long investigation if these allegations stick. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea why Tesla would do something like this, because from my research, it seems like that these rebates will probably return in about a year's time. So the only way it would make sense for a company like Tesla to try and pull something like this would be as if they're really cash-strapped or really greedy. You can make the decision as to which one you think it is, but for the most part, these rebates were going to come back in a year, and the customers that they would have lost because of this would have probably returned. So I just don't understand why Tesla would get involved with something like this and risk its reputation in Canada, especially with all the negative PR that's been going on recently with Musk getting involved in United States politics. Now, Tesla denies all these claims, and it's stating that it was a misunderstanding because there was a backlog of orders. So in one article, it states, the incentive is structured such that a dealership can offer a discount upfront to customers, then get reimbursed later by the government after filing that incentive, which Tesla points out means these are not grants to Tesla, but rather grants to Canadian customers, which are then handled by Tesla. Now, this is misleading because yes, they are grants to Canadian customers, but ultimately at the end of the day, that means more sales for Tesla, which means more revenue, which means more profits. So just because they're grants to customers doesn't mean Tesla doesn't benefit from that. So I find that comment to be pretty misleading. However, the interesting thing about this is Tesla doesn't specifically state how many of those orders were backlog orders. It's just claiming that this is a potential reason for something like that happening. So it'll be interesting to see if they would agree to an investigation, because I'm not sure if they did everything by the book, because right now it seems like is that they just sort of looked through loopholes in the systems and took advantage of that. But I don't think we can be certain of that until we actually see how they filed all the orders and how they actually went through. Anyways, in the final quote from the article, it states, it also said it was shocked that it first learned of the investigation through the media instead of through official channels. One might wonder if the feds would have had a clearer avenue for making contact if Tesla hasn't gutted its communication department ages ago. Basically talking about when you send an email to Tesla nowadays, it just simply gets an automated response with a poop emoji in return. So anyways, this whole thing just seems ridiculous. Let me know, guys, if you agree with this. Do you believe what Tesla is saying? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this, make sure to click like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.